Today on Fresh Vintage, we're checking out VinFast. Let's get started right now. Our chariot is arriving here, folks. There it is. But the question we had is, what is VinFast? And before this moment, we're literally standing in front of one. We had never heard of one or what exactly they're doing. We have our good friend Duncan here. Thanks so much for taking the time to be here, man.
Yeah, absolutely, Tom. It's good to see you.
Yeah, thank you for letting us stop by and make the video. Big shout out to Leith Vinfast. We are here at the first franchised VinFast location in the United States, right here in Cary, North Carolina. Duncan, we just wanted to say hi and talk about, specifically, we're going to start with the charging here because this guy's plugged in right now.
Yep.
But tell us about, obviously, level 1, it'll like 110 outlet. Level 2 will be a 240 type situation,
Correct.
but you said it'll go up to level 3 charging, right?
It will, yeah. You know, it's going to be able to take advantage of any CCS outlet charger. So they got a lot of fast chargers around here, big cities like Raleigh, Cary, going up into Richmond, a little bit closer to you guys. You're looking 35 to 45 minutes going from 0 all the way up to 80 or 90%.
Okay.
So I mean, pretty quick charging comparable to some of the competitors like Tesla, the Mach-E, Ionic, things like that.
Okay.
On a level 2, always recommend having a level 2 charger at home. You can expect overnight charging as well. Not that I think anyone's going to be going down to 0 every day, but you'll be able to get your 80% back overnight for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's go look at we have a VinFast charger back here. You said this was a level 2?
It is a level 2, yeah.
And this is available for purchase through VinFast.
Correct. And we have our parts department here as well that's able to supply you with those.
Service. Would they actually do a service install and stuff?
They will not do a service install. However, any local electrician will be able to install this for you.
As long as you have the proper voltage and amperage.
Correct. They do their own separate box for this one.
Okay. Awesome.
So you get that full dedicated charge.
Awesome. Okay. We have the white VinFast here. Forgive me. Let me get the color right. This is the Brahmini. Brahmini. I'm screwing it up, folks.
Odd word, yeah.
Brahmini. We'll put it on the screen so you can see it. But our chariot is right there. That is our crimson red. We're going to go walk around this one. We are here with our chariot, so to speak. This is a 2023 VinFast VF8. I make that distinction because they have, correct me if I'm wrong, a VF6. Is there 7?
There's a VF6, VF7, VF9,
okay.
And next year there will be a VF3 in the United States as well.
VF3, okay, so pretty good growing options.
A lot of good cars coming in, yeah.
And, and this is a VF8. So I don't want to say it's middle of the road, but the VF9, definitely the third passenger. It's a bigger one if you haven't seen it on their site. Duncan is going to be awesome and pop the hood for us so we can check out the big block V8 that this thing has in it. We're excited. I hear it's like 500 cubic inches or something, but all joking aside, this is actually where the frunk is at. And it's kind of neat, novel idea in the grand scheme of American automotive is they have the battery up here, which we were just talking, Duncan, that's not actually a common thing with some EVs.
No, everyone puts their 12 volt in a little bit of a different spot. Some people put it in the trunk, some people put it under like one of the front wheels, and I've even heard of some stories with a couple other brands where you have to take out the whole front dash to get to it. So, me, myself, I like having the battery up front. You still got a decent amount of space here for groceries and things of that nature. But yeah, it just makes life a little bit less intimidating when if the battery goes down.
Yeah, absolutely. And me being the redneck that I am, I immediately think this is where my jumper cables are going. This is where my tow chain's going. And this is where like my motor oil and stuff's going. None of which we would need for this vehicle, but yeah, this is really cool. Let's actually look at the back hatch because I want to see what the cargo space looks like in the back. You got to give this a little bit of English, folks. Don't be afraid to give it a little slam. Otherwise, it won't shut properly.
Now, moving down to the back, you can't really see it in the sun right here, but we do have the full LED bar right here.
I do, yeah, right here.
Comes down, accentuates the V in the VinFast, looks really cool. I love the lights on this car.
It's pretty distinctive now you say that, because most everyone has like either vertical or horizontal, but there's not that many that do a V like that.
And part of it's these cars were developed, or at least the exterior was developed by Pininfarina. They're an Italian brand. They worked on Maserati, Ferrari, some of their higher end vehicles like that. And you can really see it in some of the lines. This doesn't look like a, an Asian vehicle. It's not going to be like your Kias or Hyundais. things like that. They really wanted to give it a full-body traditional car appearance.
Absolutely. And forgive me because I mentioned big block V8 earlier. Correct me if I'm wrong on the numbers. I think I read, is it 349 or 394 horsepower?
349 horsepower on the Eco and 402 on the Plus. So
Okay.
you got a lot of power in these, you know, and with an EV, you're getting all of that right off
That
the
is
jump.
instant torque.
Oh yeah. You know, you're looking around the 370 range in torque for the Eco,
Yeah.
and about 469 for the Plus. So it's got a good deal of power, and you're really going to feel it.
And this is all-wheel drive. There's no front-wheel drive
Correct.
option, like all-wheel drive option. They're just all de facto all-wheel drive.
Yeah, in the VF8, both of them are going to be dual motor all-wheel drive vehicles. Once you get down to the VF7, that's where you have a rear-wheel drive option in the Eco, but the Plus will still be all-wheel drive.
Interesting. So they went with rear-wheel drive. I like that because me growing up, I immediately think of donuts in the car. So, but yeah, let's does that pop with the remote there?
So with this one, with an Eco, it's going to be a manual pop.
Okay.
You know, it does have the hydraulics, so you know once you actually open it up, it's a good amount. And you can see we got a decent amount of cargo space back here, and these back row seats actually, you know, recline back a little bit to, you know, give a much more comfortable feel for anyone riding in the second row.
A power outlet here. What's under here?
So under here, you know, there's going to be an air compressor kit with with tire sealant. You know, no spare tires with these vehicles, like a lot of EVs nowadays. You know, because of the weight of the vehicle, I think it's a little bit harder to get a mass-producible donut underneath there. But they do at least provide the cutout in case you're someone who wants to, you know, be down there with your hands, you know, getting the jack up and having your own donut. But.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't give it the bounce test here. Wow, is it air suspension or?
No, standard in-house suspension.
Wow, that's kind of impressive because I was expecting. That's why I said, is it air suspension? Because that's not giving much. And we were talking off camera. This will tow up to 3,800 pounds.
About 3,800 pounds. Yep.
Okay, and they actually have a tow hitch. Do you know if it's Class 3 at all? Or?
I do not know what the tow hitch is classified as. You know, all I know is we can order it from our parts department and have it installed.
There we go. But if you want to tow with this, you know, practically speaking, if you want to put a bike rack on the back of this, you can get yourself a Vinfast OEM hitch, throw it on there, and then you can actually do, you know, some light camping stuff or tow a smaller, if you have a trailer or something, maybe even a pop-up camper, depending on how much weight it is. So let's check out the interior. Let me give this a shot. Pretty cool to see the 2 backup cameras.
Correct. Yeah.
So
gives you a real clear
here.
picture.
So it gives you like not stereo vision, but dual vision almost. So that's pretty neat. And I am just going to climb in the back. I'm 6 feet, so I just want to climb in the back and see what this looks like. Sure.
Not sure why that's in the back seat, but
that's all good. Is that the charger that?
This is the actual charger that comes with it. If you wanted to take a look at that.
Sure. Yeah. So is that a 110?
It's got a 110 and a 240.
Okay.
So you can see there's the 110 plug.
Oh, it's got an adapter.
So both of them will plug into this part right here.
Okay.
And it's got a good amount of feet. I think it's like 30 feet of cable.
It looks pretty long,
this.
yeah. Let me zip that back up so we don't make a mess of it there. There we go. And thank you for that.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to jump in here because I'm curious. All the other YouTubers do it, so I'm just going to do it real quick. Comfortable. Now my curiosity is, like, if we run the front seat all the way back, how much leg room I have. So let me do that real quick, and then we'll take a look here. I told Duncan and he said no, but I wanted to get a tow hitch on this thing and put a log splitter behind it. So maybe we'll save that for another video. So we're gonna go all the way back. This is the worst. This is when Jay's driving because he needs all the leg room, and then I'm in the back. I would say it's tolerable. I just make that note because you know, if you're in here for more than an hour or something, maybe you want more leg room or something, but it's not bad. And now if you're 6'2" like Jay, you might be a little tight back there, and those fold down, it looks like, right?
They do, yeah.
How do you actually fold those down?
So there's going to be the latch right here. It'll fold completely down. Now with it all the way in the back, you know, it won't have the clearance.
Oh, here, let me do this. There we go.
But there you go. You can see there's not going to be like a dip there, you know, with the cushions. It's not completely flat, but You still
good
got plenty
size.
of room for any projects, anything you need to slide in there.
So we're sitting inside now, and we're actually looking at the dash, and immediately my mind goes to, oh my gosh, there's no speedometer, what do we do? The cool thing here is this actually has a heads-up display, and this is just an example of the heads-up display. And Duncan says if you look kind of over his shoulder-ish, I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but it's basically directly through your line of sight where you would be driving forward anyway. So that's a nice feature, because I know there's other bigger name, like Tesla, for example. I don't think the Model 3 actually has a setup like this. And I think the icing on the cake is the green and the cyan. I'm sitting here, like, as soon as you showed me this, Duncan, I'm like, all right, what color do I want? And I still haven't figured it out. But you can also turn it down or turn it off, especially like nighttime driving, you were saying.
And that's going to be a really helpful feature for a lot of people, because you don't really want some bright thing staring at you when you're driving, you know, on a dark highway at night.
Yeah.
So, just by turning it off up here, now there's nothing.
Nice.
And it's a simple turn back on, and it'll remember your settings too. So.
Okay.
Cool.
And this is the home screen here, and we were talking, there's a bunch of different apps in here if you want all of these apps, but the frequent flyers, so to speak, if you're going to call someone, or if you're Android Auto, those are like right there. Obviously your radio's here. Where were the cameras we were looking at just a minute ago?
So cameras are going to be down here. You're going to have a few different camera views as well as your bird's eye view. So, if you're in a parking lot or something like that, or not sure where you are on the lines, it's a great tool for that. And even going into reverse real quick, you can see the grid lines as well as they'll turn with you. That's a great feature that you see on a lot of more luxurious cars nowadays, which is really helpful.
This is a lot of tech, actually, and look, jumping back to the home screen, I immediately thought that this was internet through your phone, but you said that their VinFast is working with T-Mobile right now.
Correct.
For actually like over-the-air 4G LTE kind of signal. So that's really impressive to see.
Yeah, and that's going to also play into the onboard navigation. You're going to be able to search for chargers just by tapping on it.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Now with this one not being sold yet, the data isn't being shared immediately. But you would be able to tap on here and then search for all the charging stations that are nearby, as well as with filters. So I don't think it's going to work with the data turned off. But you can have filters for just fast chargers, or some slower chargers, and it'll even show you if it's being used at the moment, or what power level it is, things like that, which is pretty neat.
And obviously, folks, you have your climate control in here. These are heated seats. There's other stuff that you can do in here, and there's over on the steering wheel here, there's adaptive cruise control, and I think lane departure, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they've got lane keep assist as well as a highway assist. The highway assist is going to be similar to Tesla's self-drive, where essentially it'll read the lines that you're in, and the wheel will automatically keep you within that lane.
Okay.
I was able to actually drive all the way up to Richmond just with my finger on the wheel like this, and it drove me up. I was ready to grab it at any time, but it was cool to see that technology working full force for an extended drive.
Yeah, really impressive tech in here. And the one other thing that's becoming super commonplace on vehicles, the mirrors do fold. You can see them when you actually put the car in reverse. And you actually put the car in reverse, you'll see the mirrors tilt down. So it's kind of a nice feature just to help aid, and obviously the backup cameras show up too. So great. And I think you saw, did I see the parking brake underneath your knee there?
Yeah, the parking brake is right here.
Okay.
Now, if you have your seatbelt on, as soon as you put it into drive, it will actually lower the parking brake itself.
Interesting. Okay.
It's only if you're driving a short distance, or like when we're moving cars around the lot, we don't want to buckle up every time. So they do have a manual one for that as well. And one thing, you mentioned, you're talking about all this tech on here. The UI is one of the big draws for VinFast. And the cool part is you can actually touch and hold just like your phone and add some of these widgets. You can add temperatures, calendar, things like that. And better yet, say, you wanted to have your driver assist features right on the beginning of the screen. You can plug and play and really change the home screen how you would like it, similar to you would your Apple device.
Interesting. Okay, and I see drive mode. Okay, so this is eco, normal. Does the car look like this when it drives by?
I like to think it does.
The sport mode has like flames coming off the
Oh yeah,
sides.
it's got little red
Oh, it
ones.
does.
They do change your pictures, a little nice serene green.
Creep mode.
Um,
Okay, interesting. Creep mode, and then regenerate. Oh, that's nice that they have a switch right here. So
It does, and this was actually added in the latest software update.
okay,
That's one of the things that drew me to EVs is the fact that the car you buy today will have less features than the car you turn in about 3 years during
okay,
the lease. So with a lot of our customers, they wanted to see the regen braking be off, and because they really want that standard car feel that just drifts,
kind of coast. Yeah,
Exactly, because I will say, with it on high, it's a little bit weird to get used to.
it is. Yeah, one pedal driving.
It took me about a couple weeks before I was pretty comfortable driving, and driving without jerking, I might add.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of driving, let's go for a spin.
Absolutely.
So we're cruising around the parking lot right now. We are going to hit the road. I'm going to actually drive here at some point and just kind of get a feel for this. And while we were talking, something we didn't actually talk about earlier in the video, Duncan, is Vinfast is based in what country? I can't remember where.
It's a Vietnamese country.
That's what. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so Vietnam, and these are getting shipped in, and the warranty itself is pretty substantial. It's a 10-year something, if I remember correctly.
It is, yeah. So the bumper to bumper is a 10-year or 125,000 mile warranty. And then the battery pack itself has a 10-year unlimited mile warranty. So they're really trying to push, customer satisfaction and the fact that they're going to stay with their customers and be loyal for a very long time.
Yeah.
I believe right now it actually is the longest, most inclusive warranty of any manufacturer in the United States.
Awesome. Okay.
I know you guys were asking about horsepower a little bit earlier. So, with the Plus, you don't have as much, or the Eco doesn't have as much as the Plus, but you can still get a good amount, And that 0 to 60 we were talking about.
Yeah.
Especially for a car this heavy, this is pushing 6,400 pounds, to get up and move like that. I have definitely hunted down some Camaros and Mustangs when I was driving mine.
Yeah, and to see, you obviously, folks, you saw that on the screen here. Just the 0 to 60 very quick, probably like 6-7 seconds. But to feel it, it has some punch. And I always think of, like, if you think about 0 to 60, like 0 to 30, if you're in a panic situation where you need to get out of someone's way or they're going to clobber your car, that torque you just had, that instant torque like that, it's quite impressive.
Yeah, and that's going to be the kind of the staple of EVs. You're getting all of that full torque. But this one, you're pulling about 360 pounds of torque. Plus you're going to be pushing up in that 460, 470 range. I think I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Plenty of power. And we were talking a little bit about how SUVs tend to be, can be a little bit less safe. With EVs, I think it's a little bit different because so much of the weight is in that battery pack at the bottom. You're really not at risk of rolling over or doing anything like that. These handle really well on corners. I talked earlier about a test drive I went on where someone took an exit coming at like 50 miles an hour and it took it like a champ. And I'm a bit of a bigger dude, and it didn't even feel like I had a tire popping up or anything like that, which really impressed me. Yeah.
And these, speaking of the weight, I think we said a 6,300 number, 6,400 pounds, something like that. So they're heavy, but all of that, a good chunk of that weight is directly beneath us. And if you've ever heard of a low center of gravity, you start thinking of like Ferrari or thinking of a Lamborghini. Like, they are built to have a lower to the ground so that they're sportier, so they can handle curves and actually do a little bit more maneuvering, where like a Jeep, I have a Jeep Cherokee, for example, that thing is a boat, seesawing back and forth by comparison. All right, folks, so I am actually in the driver's seat, and I just wanted to show you, I don't know how well you can see it, but there is the heads-up display, and you can actually see the speed limit is blanked out right now, but let me try and punch in. There we go. Kind of punch in, and you can kind of make it out. It's obviously way more visible to my eye versus the camera, but I'm going to go ahead and jump in here and put it in drive, and we're going to go for a little spin. So here we go. I'm in drive, and we put it in eco mode because I am sure this thing's going to be pretty quick, even in eco mode. But
yeah, you can absolutely, they don't want to take away the safety of being able to accelerate quickly.
Yeah.
But you will have to stamp down on the pedal a little bit harder.
And I'm going right, you said.
Correct.
Okay. And I'm going to give it a little bit of gas here. Gas, so to speak, quote unquote gas. I mean, that's still
plenty.
that's even an eco. Yeah, that's pretty peppy. So,
Mhm.
but you'll be shocked to know, audience that's watching right now, I drive like a car. You know, I have turn signals, but the only thing I actually then think about is where are the headlights at?
The headlights, so if you tap right here on the screen, right now we have them set to auto.
Okay,
You can turn them on, off, have them in parking mode, or anti-fog lights as well.
okay.
These are also going to have automatic high beams. There's a different setting menu to kind of set all that stuff up, uh, along with a couple other cool features. You
That is instant torque.
hmm
And it decelerates just as quickly as it accelerates. And not to go all race car, because Lord knows I don't have a race car. Am I going straight?
left here.
Left. Okay, left right here.
Mm.
I don't have a race car per se, folks, but if you get used to the one pedal driving experience, it can become quite a fun little zippy thing because you can anticipate going around a corner and anticipate the slow down. And if you anticipate soon enough, whoops, sorry, I'm messing with the turn signals. You can just drive with mostly one pedal.
hmm
We actually rented, remember what that was, Jay? A Volvo CX40 a while back. And near the end of that trip, I'd gotten so used to one pedal driving that I was driving 90% of it with just one pedal. And it was impressive. Like right now, I'm not even on the brakes. I am going to hit the brakes, but let's see here. Okay, so I just got down the brakes right there. Otherwise, if I would have anticipated far enough, am I going straight?
Straight.
Okay. If I would have anticipated soon enough, I could have actually, just kind of a complete stop right there.
hmm
Very comfortable. All this material inside here, folks, this isn't cheap plastic. Everything feels leather.
Left right here.
Left right here. There we go.
And that was kind of the goal with VinFast is they wanted the fit and finish of the vehicle to be really good compared to, some of the other EVs that are out there on the market. I'm sure, in opening up a lot of the doors, you felt that they were really heavy, sturdy doors,
Mm-hmm.
to promote safety. Um, and, again, comparatively to a Tesla, just even the dash, that's how you kind of know the quality of the vehicle. Um, and we've had a lot of Tesla owners that have come in and been blown away with, how the vehicle looks on the interior.
Yeah, it's a very fit and finished vehicle. We were talking off camera about being, there's a lot of cheaper cars that have cheap plastic, like knock knock knock, cheap plastic, and you don't get that feeling in anything here, even remotely close. And this is the eco model, right?
Correct.
So they also have higher trim level models than this, which is impressive because there's already a lot of nice trim in here. Everything feels plush and feels very clean and solid. So it feels very, very nice.
Yeah, and the model you're talking about is a plus model. All of this, is going to be an upgraded leather in that. You're going to have a sunroof, the heated and cooled seats. If we take a look at the menu right now, we just have our heated front seats and heated steering wheel. In that plus, you're going to have full cabin ventilated seats, which is, it just takes it to the next level as far as luxury and comfort, which is what you can expect by going up in a trim level.
And something that we were talking about, being a little bit of a techie person, I'm kind of a computer nerd. I can tell if something is quick running or if it's kind of lagging, like maybe it has a little bit less RAM or it has enough RAM and a faster processor. And I'm just intentionally clicking through, and you can see this screen is keeping up with us because there's other, EV worlds out there where you touch a screen and you've probably seen it, you just haven't noticed it, where you touch and then it lags for like 2 or 3 seconds. That's the computer and the RAM inside this head unit just struggling to keep up with your request. It literally is struggling, whereas, if you're touching, you can see how fast, how quick I am going through these, just randomly touching on things. So pretty impressive to see it's that quick and that responsive. And normally my fingers, I'm doing like the to get like a little bit of moisture in them, but this has worked with very good sensitivity and worked extremely well the entire time we've used it. One other thing we wanted to mention, Duncan, this has a pet mode. We were just talking about it, and if you've ever seen a Tesla, you drive by, at a mall and you see a doggy chilling inside. He's got 72 degrees inside and he's listening to some Megadeth. The Vinfast series will do the exact same thing, so you get that with any one of these that you buy or lease. Really nice feature to have because there's a lot of pet owners out there. So
it is, and a lot of other people that will break some windows if they think the pet's in danger.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
trying to deter that.
You can even customize the message, you said,
you can,
right?
yeah. It's,
this is Champ
really
or
cool.
something right on the screen there. So, but.
It's a really cool feature. We've definitely had some customers share their videos with us.
And folks, we'll put Leith Vinfast's website in the description of the video you're watching now, so you can take a look. I kind of like what I see. It's pretty neat to see what they are doing, what Vinfast is doing in the United States, especially knowing here in Cary, North Carolina, this is the first franchise dealership. There are other up-and-coming ones, but definitely check out their website. And Duncan, thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking the time here, buddy.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure, Tom.
Yeah, thank you very much, man. So wrapping up the video, folks, pretty cool to see what VinFast is doing. We'll leave the link for Leith Vinfast. We have it on the screen here, and we'll leave it in the description of the video you're watching. But if you like classic cars, if you like muscle cars, if you like tech, I consider this tech just as much as a scooter or a cell phone. So pretty cool to see this technology. Please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.